Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm Chris Peterson. I'm the 612 math consultant from Savvis and working with JCPS, and I'm excited to be here. A couple of little pieces. One, if you're new to getting into our material, you're going to go to your Clever page, your Clever landing page, and you're going to look for your Savvis Easy Bridge. Okay, it's going to be your Easy Bridge icon on your desk. There's a little place also you can start to make one of your favorites, and you're going to use that Easy Bridge icon to set up your Savvis Realize. So that's how you're going to go about getting into this, to the Savvis materials and programs, and that's where you're going to look. Go to Savvis Easy Bridge off of your Clever page, and then you're going to set up your Savvis Realize account and link your Google Classrooms and all of that nice stuff. If you need help with that, I'll be happy to help you. We also have a customer success manager, Laura, who is also happy to help you with that also. Kelly, I think Kelly or Linda are monitoring my chat, and maybe they can put the email links in there for myself and or Laura if you're going to go that route to get her to help you. Okay? Go ahead and looking ahead. Next week, I'll be back on as a whole 6 to 12 math group, and we're going to be looking at assessment within Envision. All the assessment pieces that fit into your assessing students, not just summative, but also diagnostic pieces and formative pieces that will lend themselves to you understanding how your students are truly doing on a daily basis using some of our assets in our program. So that's next week, assessment within the Envision program. Today, I want to talk to you about differentiation. In this virtual time of school, differentiation might be one of the most difficult pieces of a teacher's job, looking and seeing where students are struggling, knowing which students are struggling. So let me show you some of the pieces within the Envision 6-8 program that I have identified that will help you accomplish this. We're here at our Savvis Realize landing page, Browse, Classes, and Data. So we're going to go into the Browse, and today for this session, I've got my favorite one starred for middle school. I'm going to use the 7th grade program. I used the 8th grade with the school yesterday, so I'm going to use 7th grade today just to be a little bit different. First of all, we're looking for differentiation pieces, okay? And we're at the program level. Whenever you see the table of contents, that's the program level. That's how we refer to it. And we're going to look over here in the right sidebar, and we're going to click on the teacher resources. And there are a lot of pieces here that are valuable, okay? But the one I want to focus on is this language support handbook. I want to look at this for a few minutes and discuss it with you. The language support handbook, you may think, well, that's for ELL students, but actually it's not. It is, but it's not geared just towards them. The language support handbook is for all students to learn and use those language modalities within mathematics: the listening, the reading, the writing, the speaking, and the representing, because math is a language of representations, whether we're using pictures or fraction bars or different things like that. So this language handbook is set up to incorporate during your instruction to differentiate for those students who may struggle with that math language. And what it is, it goes through some nice pieces. We can look here at the rigorous task and the productive struggle. You guys at the school district call it grappling, okay? We refer to it as productive struggle. So it's there for you. And just a lot of nice pieces that talk about the math and the language in math, okay? But what I want to get to, I want to skip on down, and I want to find and show you that it's a little too far. Here we go. Every topic in the Envision math program has a language support activity. In the 7th grade program, there are 8 topics, okay? And I would guess that probably teachers are somewhere around this topic 5, solving problems using equations and inequalities. Okay? So I'm going to skip down to topic 5. You can see that as I scroll through, it's got them for topic 1. Every lesson has an activity in that language area of math development. Okay, but I'm going to get down to topic 5. A little bit more. Here we go. And you can see that it introduces a new topic, a new vocabulary phrase, okay, to your students. Also, it covers any language, any vocabulary that might have been covered in previous units. And students should be aware of those, but that's to give you warning that they may have forgotten what those terms mean. So you may want to look as you use those for that language to be implemented into your classroom, into your instruction. Okay? Getting down, each lesson, you can see each lesson has a suggestion for developing that language. And here we see those 5 modalities right here. Okay? It shows them to you. The nice thing about this, okay, is it gives you stems. Okay, you guys in the district call them stems. I had a nice chat with Samantha, and it gives you stems that you may use. Okay, guidance for how you're going to use and incorporate this language of math into your instruction. So in each lesson, it gives you that. It tells you that there are math phrases that students might use during the visual learning example. Okay, it tells you the questions that you may want to focus on to incorporate those modalities to learn that language of math. Here we are. What is the unknown? What does the variable b represent? Is there a constant? How do you know? So it's directing teachers towards those activities that they can use during their instruction to build that math language in our students. Okay? Every lesson, lesson 5.3, lesson 5.4, and it's always giving you, okay, suggestions of how to word this, how to interact with your students to develop that math language. Okay, so topic 5, it continues all the way through the lesson, and this is just a real nice piece to help develop that language in math. Okay, and Kelly or Linda, if there are any questions in the chat, feel free to jump in. And if somebody has a piece that they want to mention, how they would use it in their classroom, I'm more than happy to let them jump in. But this language support handbook is a terrific piece to address these 5 modalities and developing our math language for students. All right, so going on. Yes, I'm sorry?
Hey, Chris, I have a question for you. I think people might want to know, how could they get some help from you if they wanted to know more about how to actually use these strategies you're talking about?
I'm going to ask Kelly or Linda to post my email in the chat box. It's real easy, chris.peterson@savas.com. And I also have a Cloud HQ link that they can go to. It would be posted in the chat, and the Cloud HQ is where they can schedule a conference with me. Okay, it's set up there to schedule 30-minute conferences. I can meet with individuals. I can meet with your curriculum grade level. I can meet with the whole school. I met with Ramsey Middle School yesterday and had a terrific time with them and really enjoyed it, and learned from them, and they learned from me, hopefully. Okay, so if you'll get that posted in the chat for me, I sure would appreciate it, please. And Linda, I just sent you and Kelly my Cloud HQ link. I realized that I had not done that. Okay.
You got it.
All right. Thank you very much. So the language support handbook is the first piece I wanted to cover for differentiation. Okay. The intervention lessons, if we're still here in our program level, okay, we're going to scroll all the way down past every topic, and we're going to look right here at these intervention lessons. Now, these intervention lessons are actually from our math diagnosis and intervention system. but you can assign them individually. If you know that a student is struggling with one specific area, okay? If you know that student is struggling with fractions, okay, making sense of fractions, look through these pieces, okay, and you can look into it, all right, and it breaks it down into different ones, and you can assign them, okay? Let's go in and look and see what it looks like. I'll show you. Intro, how can I use 1/2 to compare? It gives them a nice little video to learn about that 1/2 to compare, and it has different screens for them to go through and look at these intervention pieces and videos, and then some click and drag pieces that you want to work on that the student can practice on. Okay? Alrighty, so that's how it goes, all like that, click and drag. Interactivities, lessons for struggling students that need that differentiation. Okay? So these intervention lessons, let me show you once again how I got to them. It's in your program level. You're going to scroll all the way down past the topics, and it's right here in the intervention lessons part. Okay? It's divided into clusters for what area of math that student is struggling with. I went to the fraction number sense. Okay? We'll say equivalent fractions. And then you get to that activity, and if you preview it as the teacher and say, yeah, this is nice. This is what this student needs. You would go back to it and you would assign it to that student right here using this. Okay? So the intervention lessons are a nice piece. I hit the back button. Let's not do that. We like for you to use this the green back arrow in our program. Alrighty. So anyhow, at the program level, I've shown you the language support handbook over here in the drop down, and also I have shown you the intervention lessons down at the bottom of our program level. Let's go into a topic level. So let's use topic 5. That's probably about where teachers are in their school year. So let's go in here and look at the topic level for the intervention pieces. Now, these next 2 pieces I'm going to show you, you're going to wonder, how are they considered differentiation? But they are, okay? Not necessarily the differentiation of instruction, but differentiation of how students can show us what they know, okay? The STEM project, okay, is a great way for students to show you what they have learned outside of the math world, okay? It's a STEM project that's related to the science, technology, engineering, and math and all that, okay? So this is a great way for students who need that differentiated learning to show you a differentiated method of what they have learned. So I consider, and many people that I work with consider these STEM projects differentiation. The next one is right below it, the Pick a Project, okay? This is the place where students get to choose their project they work on and show you what they have learned. So that's a differentiation piece also in my book for students to show you how that differentiation learning has worked for them so they can show you what they have learned. One other one I'll show you is the 3-act math, okay? And the 3-act math is a differentiation also. It's a differentiation to model out math, okay? And I can do a whole session for you on 3-act math. Matter of fact, I'm considering that being one of my February sessions. So, and I'm probably going to look at that. So the 3-act math would be a differentiation piece also. So here at the topic level, I'm at the topic, okay? The 3 pieces I wanted to share with you would be the STEM project, the Pick a Project, and then also the 3-act math. Now, notice the 3-act math is placed down here because we feel when we built the program that this 3-act math, all the students need this prerequisite information and knowledge of lessons 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to be successful on that 3-act math task. Okay? So we put it where we think it needs to be in your lesson flow, if you want to call it that. Okay, that's where we think it needs to be. All righty. So that's at the topic level. That's at the topic level. Now let's go from the topic level into a deeper dive, and let's go into the lesson level, and let's look at the pieces that are there for differentiation. The first one that I have found is Math Excel. Okay? Math Excel. It comes in many forms. There's a Math Excel practice and problem solving, additional practice, and then if you scroll on, okay, there's even a Math Excel enrichment piece. Okay? Now, let me show you the nice thing about this and what makes it a differentiation piece for Envision Math. For our struggling students, okay, there's always this box up top on the right, the question help. From this, students can get help solving this. It's interactive. Okay. Students can view an example. Students can watch a video, okay, and it's the learning, the virtual visual learning animation that they saw earlier in the lesson, okay. And there are other tools, the glossary, okay, going back to that math language. Also math tools. Let me click that and show you, okay. It brings up math tools that they can use, right, where they can pull all of these pieces and use them. And then insert that work into their actual work to submit to you, the teacher. So that's there for you, okay? For them to use the math tools. Alrighty. So this Math Excel is very beneficial as a differentiation piece. It can be synchronous or asynchronous. Also, is the nice thing about it. You can be there with the student while he or she is working on it, and see what they're working on and see where their mistakes are. They can share their screen with you and work through it. You can direct them. Say, okay, Chris, go up to the help box and see if you can find some help to help. Okay, so you can do it synchronously, or that could be asynchronous, and they can always get that help from that help box up there. The next piece I wanted to show you was this one right here. It's the adaptive practice powered by Newton. Now, it's only open to pull out and open with when you assign it. Okay, so that I can do a whole section on this. I'll be glad to meet with you. But what it does is it takes students down at least it takes them down one grade level to work on those prerequisite skills that they would need to successfully complete this writing two-step equations. Okay. So if they're having problems with some prerequisite skills, it will accommodate them, it will differentiate for them and allow them to work on those other skills prior to this, and then intertwine it with this current skill that they are on. Okay. So the Newton practice is also there for you, and it's very nice. The next piece that's that actually now I'm going to get into the actual assess and differentiate section of our lesson. Okay. The next piece is the lesson quiz, and I want to talk to you about that. I shared this with Ramsey yesterday, and they loved it, okay? The lesson quiz, it can be assigned, okay? And here's the nice thing about when you assign this, all righty? When you assign it to your 7th grade class, we're going to set the start date for today and the end date for tomorrow, okay? There's this little check mark right here. And when you have that check, okay, the Realize platform is automatically going to grade that lesson quiz from your students. And when it does that, it's going to automatically assign remediation and enrichment activities to a student if this assessment shows that it is needed. Okay? So it's going to automatically assign those remediation and enrichment pieces. So if I were to hit assign, it would go out to my class, they would complete it, it would get graded, and then automatically my students would be assigned one of these 3 pieces for their differentiation for that day of class. They would either get the reteach to build understanding. That's for our students who are struggling. We're going to go back and reteach it with them. We're going to get the what we would consider on-level students, this additional vocabulary support. That's the piece they would be automatically assigned. And the build mathematical literacy would be an enrichment piece for our students, okay? So in every lesson, whenever you assign this lesson quiz, if you have that little check mark, box marked again, okay, right here, it's going to automatically grade their quiz, and it's going to assign one of these 3 pieces for their intervention pieces and to differentiate amongst our students, okay? So that's a very nice way to formative assessment, where you can get a quick glimpse of how students are doing, and then it would automatically assign those pieces. Okay? The Math Excel, as I mentioned earlier, is a nice piece. It's not just for remediation and intervention students. There's a piece of Math Excel for enrichment also. Okay? And the Virtual Nerd is a real neat video to show why students ask, why do I need to know this? Well, guess what? It's going to show them how these apply in the real world. Okay? That's basically what the Virtual Nerd videos do. Alrighty, and it's a nice little way to say, hey, this is important what you're doing. Okay? In addition, Spanish resources, we have all of those down here, and it's there for your Spanish-speaking students. It's there for them also. To look at and to use, and you can assign them also. Okay? It's the Math Excel in Spanish that you can assign to your Spanish students, Spanish-speaking students. Okay? So plenty of Spanish resources down here, plenty of them. All righty, Linda has the chat. Any questions, any comments that we want to share?
I don't see any right now. Just some pointing out that what you're talking about is awesome.
Okay, terrific. Well, I'm glad everyone is enjoying that. Alrighty. If you wanted, let me show you how to find some pieces real quickly. Okay, using this magnifying glass. Okay, if you need to find resources for differentiation quickly. Let's go and let's research those intervention lessons that we searched. Okay? That magnifying glass is always there for you to find resources very quickly in our Realize platform. Okay? Here we go, and it's got places over on the left where you can narrow it down. We're going to filter it down to 7th grade. Slowly but surely. And then going down through here, okay, you can see all of them. It's got titles, multiplying decimals. So let's say I wanted to be more specific, okay? And I wanted to find that one that I looked for earlier on fractions. Intervention lessons, fractions. And it's going to do a search. We want to filter it by 7th grade again. And here we go. These are all of the intervention lessons for fractions in 7th grade. Now, the nice thing about these intervention lessons, you can assign them from prior grades, okay? So if you have students that are on a much lower level in the math world, you can get to the earlier grade level intervention lessons, okay? That's always there for you. Right? But that's a quick way using this magnifying glass to do a search for your resources on the tools, all right? One other thing I've done today, okay, that I want to look at. 7th grade, here's my class. Okay, let's go back to the home page and I'll show you. I found my program in the Browse tab. Now I want to go to classes and show you something with this away from assessment. Here's my 7th grade class. Right? And you can see that earlier today I assigned the today's challenge, right, to my 7th grade class. Well, I have opened an incognito window, okay? And here we go, okay? This is a student view. Okay, I'm logged in as a student on this screen. They are going to have the same, excuse me, setup with their browse and their classes and their grades. The classes is where they're going to get to their assignments. So let's go and look at what an assignment page looks like for a student. You can see that I've assigned some different pieces before, okay, to the students, but the one I assigned this morning is right here. It's the today's challenge. We will click on that. It tells them when it was assigned. It tells them when it is due. It tells them the information where they can find it in their book if they wanted to go and look at it. Okay? Then they would click right here on today's challenge to start their work. All righty? Here's the today's challenge. Look at all of these tools. They can have a pen to write. They can have a text box to type. You can see it up there. They can click and drag it. They can extend it, okay, however they want to use it. Also up here in the upper right, there is a Tools button, okay? And this is where students have access in our 6 through 8 program. Actually, it's in the 9 through 12 HGA program also. They have access to Desmos tools, okay, a graphing calculator, geometry figures, the circles, the angles, things like that, a protractor. And a scientific calculator. So that's all there for them. Once again, here's those additional math tools that I showed you. Okay. And notice when I click that, let me show you again, it opens in a new window. So some students sometimes get lost. Okay. They're going to say, oh, I need to use these additional math tools to show my answer. And they're going to use fractions and percent. Okay. All right. And they're going to say, oh, here I go, I'm going to use this, I'm going to do my work, and they're going to go, wait a minute, I can't find my work. Where did it go? It's not in here, I can't exit. They have to understand that they've opened a new window and they have to go back to it right over here. Okay? So that's what it's going to look like to your students from their view. I showed you again, okay? Go back to their home page, they find their assignments in the classes section, okay? Now it's going to be that assignment I just started is in progress since I had opened it. And here it is, and they would click on it to get to it. Students are also logging in through their Clever platform or their Google Classroom. Once you have it linked, they can get into their assignments through Google Classroom also. And here are the tools up here that I just showed you. Right? One other piece I want to show you. Okay? Here is a Padlet, okay, and Linda, if you can, I think let me email this to you, okay, and get it in the chat. And get that Padlet in the chat, and let me walk through it with them. Here's my section right here for Math 6 to 12. It has my flyer with all of my contact information on it. And a picture of my ugly mug up there, okay? You can always get to that if you need to contact me or set up a session. There's my Cloud HQ link, buddy. The next thing I have is a Envision correlation to the 6-8 instructional framework, okay? I've taken that instructional framework of the sections of review and focus, the guide and engage, where speakers are going to be offering that differentiation. And put some of our components in there that I've mentioned today, that you can see right here. All righty. After that, the explore and apply and the synthesize and reflect, it's all in there. I've also done one for HEA. And then the last piece I've added is the Envision program relating to the 8 mathematical practices. and how that can be used to address those 8 mathematical practices. So some resources for you teachers to use if you're using our program. Once again, I have a session next week. I'll be back on again today from 11 to 11:30 with the high school AGA program, looking at their differentiation because it is a little bit different. But next Wednesday, I'll be on from 9:30 to 10, and we'll be covering the assessment pieces within the Vision program, that formative and summative assessment piece.